Good morning all. Welcome back to CMOS Logic Circuits. In our previous video lecture, we have discussed the basic CMOS logic circuit, which is the CMOS logic inverter. So we have seen the operation of CMOS logic inverter and the switching model of the CMOS logic inverter. In today's session, we will discuss the remaining CMOS logic circuits. These are the contents. Uh, in this session, we will discuss the CMOS NAND gate, CMOS NOR gate, and we will discuss CMOS non-inverting gates. So before we see all these things, so let us see the most important learning yesterday. So what did we learn uh, in the our previous lecture? So we have seen the CMOS inverter. So just once we go back to that inverter and then we will continue the CMOS remaining circuits. CMOS inverter. What is a CMOS inverter? It is the combination of the NMOS and PMOS transistors. So to build the CMOS inverter, we need NMOS transistor and PMOS transistors, and these two are connected such that the PMOS is connected to the power supply VDD and the NMOS is connected to the ground here. The PMOS is connected to the PMOS is connected to the VDD power supply and the NMOS is connected to the ground. So since the PMOS is connected to the VDD, it is connected to the VDD, it is said to be the pull-up network, and this pull-up network always drive the output of the gate to the high state, whereas the n-channel transistor is said to be the pull-down network. It is said to be the pull-down network, as it always drive the at the output of the gate from high state to the low state here. The PMOS is a pull-up network and the NMOS is a pull-down network. And the gates of the two transistors are connected together and the input is applied at the gate of the two transistors. So the N-channel transistor gate and the P-channel transistor gates, they are connected together, and at this gate, a common gate, and at which we will apply the input and we will take the output at this point. So here you can see the logic symbol of the inverter. As we all know, the logic symbol of an inverter, the schematic representation of inverter circuit, and the operational and the truth table or the functional table of this inverter is when you apply a logic 0, the inverter gate, it provides the complement of the input as an output here. Uh, when you apply the logic 1, it gives the logic 0 as the output. So here you can see the schematic representation of the CMOS inverter and the circuit diagram of the CMOS inverter with the truth table here, the functional table, truth table. So in this, the logic 0 is refers with the 0 volts and logic 1 is referred with the 5 volts here. So so depending on the input at the gate, it produces the complement output at the output. So that is when you apply the logic 0, that is 0 volts. So it produces the 5 volts. It produces the 5 volts. If logic 1 is applied, that is 5 volts is applied, 0 volt, that is logic 0, it it gives. And see how the transistors are behaving here in the circuit. The PMOS is connected to the VDD and NMOS is connected to the ground. So for the first condition, 0 volts, logic 0. When the logic 0 volts is applied, the PMOS transistor is on and the NMOS transistor is off here. Because for the for 0 volts, the P transistor offers the low resistance. For the same 0 volts, the NMOS transistor offers the very high resistance here. So because of that, for 0 volts, it is on state. So since it is in the on state, the VDD 5 volts, the power supply voltage 5 volts, now it is directly available at Vout. So therefore, the output voltage is 5 volts and it is viewed as the logic 1. On the other hand, when the 5 volts is applied to the CMOS inverter, so for this 5 volts, the NMOS transistor will be on and the PMOS transistor will be off. So as the NMOS transistor is in on state, it has very low on resistance, and the PMOS is off, so it has a very high resistance, therefore it simply acts as an open circuit. So now when it is an open circuit, so this VDD power supply, it cannot come to the Vout. It cannot come to the Vout. So now what will be the output here? It is 0 volts here. Why? Because for 5 volts, the N channel transistor is on. So when it is in on, so now the collector and emitter are at the same potential, that is 0 volts, and you are taking the output at the the source of the N channel. So when the source and drain are at the same potential 0 volts, now the output will be also at the 0 volts only. So therefore, for a 0 volts, the CMOS inverter, it gives 5 volts, and for 5 volts it giving the it gives the 0 volts here. So you can observe the entire behavior in the functional table here. So this entire operation can be easily described from the switching table here, from the switching model of the CMOS inverter. So by looking at the switching models of the CMOS inverter, we can easily understand the behavior of the circuit, and we can easily understand the operation of the circuit here. See, for a logic 1 input, so that is 5 volts, for a logic 1 5 volts, the P channel transistor is off here, so it just simply as a open circuit. For the same 5 volts, the N channel transistor is on, so it just uh, uh, is viewed as a closed switch here. So that is the switching model of the CMOS inverter. So when the NMOS transistor is in on, so therefore it is directly, the output is now directly connected to the 0 volts. So therefore for a 5 volts of input, it is uh, uh, giving 0 volt at the output. The second case, logic 0. When the input is logic 0, it produces the logic 1 at the output. So when 0 volt is applied, the PMOS transistor is on. So therefore it is simply viewed as a on switch. For the same 0 volts, the N channel transistor it acts as a off transistor, and it is viewed as the open switch. So for 0 volts, the PMOS is on, and as it is in on state, the VDD is directly now at the output terminal. So that is viewed as the logic 1 here. So the switching model of the digital circuit is very convenient for us to understand the CMOS logic circuits. So this is we have seen in the last class. So now we will continue the remaining CMOS logic gates. So here the next CMOS logic gate is CMOS NAND. We all know what is a NAND gate. So a NAND gate can have a logic low value only when all the inputs are at the logic high. In all other conditions, it just simply producing a high state of the output. The NAND is the opposite of the AND operation. So that is the complement output of the AND gate. The NAND outputs are the complement output of the AND. So here the NAND gate and NOR gate can be constructed by using this CMOS logic, and for constructing or for building up this CMOS NAND gate, for a K input NAND gate, we required K number of the P channel transistors and K number of the N channel transistors. Say for example, 2 input CMOS NAND gate. So for constructing this 2 input CMOS NAND gate, we require the 2 number of the PMOS transistors and 2 numbers of the NMOS transistors here. And how they are connecting in the circuit? The PMOS transistors are connected parallelly. They are connected parallelly, and all the PMOSs are connected to the VDD. So therefore, the PMOS network is the pull-up network, and all the NMOS transistors are connected in series. They are connected in series, and they are connected to the ground value. So for a 2 input of CMOS NAND gate, we require the 2 PMOS transistors and 2 NMOS transistors, and they are connected in the circuit such that the PMOS transistors are connected in parallel and which is tied to the VDD, and the NMOS transistors are connected in series and they are tied to the ground potential 0 volts. And here you can see the schematic representation of a NAND gate, the 2 input NAND gate. It has 2 inputs A and B and has an output Z. And also you can see the functional table. So in this functional table, you have the logical inputs A and B and logic output Z, and also you have the state representation of each transistor. So here we have 4 transistors. The PMOS transistors are named as Q2, Q4. NMOS transistors are named as Q1, Q3. The 2 PMOSs are named as Q2, Q4. And the 2 NMOS transistors are named as Q1 and Q3. So now we will see the switching model of this CMOS 2 input NAND gate to easily understand the working or the behavior of this CMOS 2 input gate. And here see, we have already discussed the pull-up network is a parallel network connected to the VDD. So all the PMOS transistors are connected in parallel and they are tied to the VDD, and all the NMOS transistors are connected in series and they are tied to the ground potential 0 volts. And now here see, the PMOS transistor offers low on resistance for logic 0 while high off resistance for logic 1. So which means for logic 0, the PMOS transistor will be on. For logic 1, the PMOS transistor will be off. Here, the NMOS is having the quite complementary characteristic to the PMOS. That is, for logic 1, this NMOS transistor has low on resistance. For logic 0, it has high on resistance here. So simply here, the NMOS is always in on for logic 1 state, and for logic 0 the NMOS transistor is off. For PMOS it is opposite to the NMOS. For logic 0 the PMOS is on, and for logic 1 the PMOS is off. So next, the switching model for NAND gate operations. So here you can see the switching model of the three combination of inputs. One combination of input is the two inputs are logic low and the two inputs are logic high, and one input at logic high, another at logic low. Now let's see, if the two inputs are logic low, the A and B inputs are at logic low, 0, 0. So when you apply 0, 0 to the two input NAND gate, the two input NAND gate, it gives the logic 1 at the output. So how it is giving the logic 1 here? See, for the logic for the input A and B, the inputs are logic 0, that is 0 volts, 0 volts, say 0 volts, 0 volts. So for these 0 and 0 volts, the transistors, I mean the pull-up network transistors, the transistors which are in the pull-up network, PMOS transistors, they are in on state. On the other hand, the NMOS transistors are off and they simply open circuit. So as the two transistors are on and they are tied to the VDD, so therefore now the VDD will be at the output here. So therefore for 0, 0, the output is logic 1, that is 5 volts. And the second case you take, both inputs are at the logic 1. So when the both inputs are at logic 1, that is 5 volts has applied to both inputs. Now for this 5 volts or for this logic 1, the pull-up network is it now is it in off state because the PMOS transistors are in off, and where the pull down network, the NMOS transistors are now conducting, so therefore they will be acting as a closed switch here. So because of this, logic 1 at the two inputs, and for this logic 1 the PMOS transistors are off, therefore the VDD it cannot come to or it cannot appear at the output. So now what will be the output here now? It will be the 0 because the PMOS transistors are in conducting state, they are in on state and they are connected to the ground potential. So therefore the 0 volts are the output. 0 volts is the output. So for logic 1 and 1, the two input CMOS NAND gate, it giving logic 0, that is 0 volts. For 5 volts of input, it giving the 0 volts of output. Now they take the remaining two conditions. That is, at least one input is at high state and one input at the low state. So in this case, let A is the high state, that is logic 1, and the B is the low state, logic 0, that is the 5 volts and 0. A is at 5 volts. Because of this 5 volts, the corresponding transistor, the corresponding transistor is, the PMOS transistor is off and the corresponding NMOS transistor is on. On the other hand, for the logic 0, that is 0 volts, the corresponding B input PMOS transistor, it is on, and the corresponding NMOS transistor to the B input is now, it is in off. But if you see here, between the two inputs, one is at logic 0 and one is at logic high. Therefore, because of the inputs in the pull up network, so one PMOS is in conducting, and that PMOS, that conducting PMOS is allowing the VDD to appear on the output. Therefore, finally here the output is logic 1, that is 5 volts here. So this is the switching model for two input NAND gate here. The next gate is CMOS NOR gate. So here the NOR gate also can be constructed or it can be built using the CMOS logic, where to build this CMOS NOR gate also. So here we will require, so for a K input NOR gate, uh, we require K P channel transistors and K N channel transistors, which is similar to similar to of the CMOS NAND. So for instance, two input CMOS NOR gate. So for to build this two input CMOS NOR gate, we require the same two number of PMOS transistors and the two number of NMOS transistor. Now, how the CMOS and NOR and CMOS NAND are differentiated here? Because the two logic circuits are using the same number of the transistors, but they are differing in the circuit connections here. In the CMOS NAND, the pull-up network, which are the PMOS transistors, they are connected in parallel. But now here the PMOS transistors are connected in series and it is tied to the VDD. Whereas the NMOS transistors, now they are connected in parallel. They will now come into the parallel. In the CMOS NAND, the NMOS transistors are series. But in CMOS NOR, the NMOS transistors are connected in parallel, and it is connected to the ground here. So now here you can see the circuit diagram of two inputs A and B, and for an output Z. So here you can see the circuit diagram and the schematic representation of the two input NOR gate. The two inputs are A and B and the output is Z, and the functional table showing us, so here the the state of the transistor will also be there. So for the combination of the inputs, for the given combination of the input, which transistor is in on state and which transistor is in off state, and the corresponding output to that combination of input. So for low and low, the output of the CMOS NOR is high. For low, high, I mean for 0, 1 and 1 and 0, for these two combinations, the output is low. And even if the both inputs are at logic high state also, the output is low. So for the CMOS NOR or for the NOR gate, the output is high only when all the inputs are at the logic low here. Logic low. So for this also, we will see the switching model. So here in the CMOS NOR, the pull-up network is connected to the VDD and the pull-down network is connected to the ground, which is same as of the any CMOS circuit. But the pull-up network here, it is in parallelly connected, and the pull-down network is series network. But in CMOS NAND, the pull-up network is the series network and the pull-down network is parallel network. That is the major difference between the CMOS NAND and CMOS NOR. And we know these 2 points here. We have already seen the PMOS transistor will be on only for the logic 0 and it will be in off state for logic 1. Whereas the NMOS will be in on state for only logic 1, and for logic 0 it will be in the off state here. So now let's see the switching model for the NOR gate, CMOS NOR gate. Same here also, you will have the combination of inputs when both A and B inputs are at logic 0, 0. Logic 0, 0. So corresponding transistors to these inputs, the PMOS transistors will be on and the NMOS transistors are off. Since the PMOS transistors are on, the VDD will be appearing at the output, that is high state. So to appear the VDD at the output, the two PMOS transistors must be conduct. If one PMOS transistor is on and the other PMOS transistor is off, then the VDD, it cannot appear at the output here. So therefore, the output must be 1 only when the two PMOS transistors must be on. So that's why for 0, 0 only in CMOS NOR, you have the logic high state output. Now take the other combination of inputs, that is the both inputs are at the high state here. This one, third diagram. So when the two inputs A and B are at the logic 1 state, so because of these two inputs, the AB corresponding transistors, the NMOS and PMOS transistors. So the all the PMOS transistors are just simply act as an open circuit, and the NMOS transistors will be closed circuit. So and as the PMOS transistors are opened, so the VDD it cannot come to the output. So the only thing is now the ground potential will now be appeared at the output. So for logic 1 and 1, the output is 0. And the remaining two conditions 0, 1 and 1, 0. One of the input is at high state, another input at the low state. For these combinations, the corresponding 0 input transistors of the PMOS will be on and NMOS will be off, and the corresponding 1, logic 1, NMOS transistor is on and the PMOS transistor is off. As I said that for to get a high state of output in CMOS NOR, the PMOS transistors must be closed. They must be in active state. It is possible only when the A and B inputs are at logic 0. In that condition only, we will get the high state of output. In all other remaining conditions, the output is 0 here. So therefore, the switching model will be very convenient for us to describe the operation of the CMOS circuits here. So till now we have seen the CMOS inverter, CMOS NAND and CMOS NOR here. So now the next one is CMOS non-inverting gates. So what are these CMOS non-inverting gates? So here the inverting gates are the CMOS inverter, CMOS NAND and CMOS NOR. These are called the CMOS inverting gates. Why? Because in CMOS inverter, in CMOS NAND and NOR, you are getting the complementary outputs of the basic gates. The basic gates of AND and OR. If you see the NAND operation is the complement of the AND operation, and OR operation is the complement, NOR operation is the complement operation of the OR. So therefore, here the CMOS inverter, CMOS NAND and NOR, these three gates are called the inverting gates. CMOS inverting gates. Now, the CMOS non-inverting gates are the CMOS non-inverting buffer, which is nothing but a buffer circuit, non-inverting buffer. And in CMOS AND gate and the CMOS OR gate, these are all the non-inverting gates. And even we can also say that the complementary, the CMOS logic itself, it is giving us the complementary outputs. And now we are taking the complementary output. Now we are taking the complementary output for the AND and OR gates and even for the buffer. So in that way also these are the CMOS non-inverting gates, because the output of the inverting gate is again now inverting, again now it is complementing, so that it is a non-inverting. And the output of the NAND gate is again complemented, so now we get the AND operation, AND gate. And the output of the NOR is complemented, so the OR output is available. So now we will see the CMOS non-inverting gates. So here the first one is CMOS non-inverting buffer. So what is a inverting buffer? An inverting buffer is nothing but, this is called the inverting buffer. This is called inverting buffer. So if you apply the logic 0, it gives you logic 1. So this is the inverting buffer. Now what is a CMOS non-inverting buffer? The CMOS non-inverting buffer is nothing but, it is the combination of two CMOS inverters here. So now if you connected these two here, So now if you connected these two, that is the output of one CMOS inverter gate is connected as the input to the another CMOS gate. Now you see what is the output at the second inverting gate. It is 0. So, and take the second combination of input 1. If you apply, the output of the first CMOS inverter gate is 0, and now this 0 as an input to the second inverter, and it gives us the complement of this one. So now what are the outputs here? The outputs are same as of the inputs here. These are the same as of the input. So that's why it is a CMOS non-inverting buffer. This is the basic concept. But now if we want to implement this, the CMOS inverting gate, so what we can do here? So we can take the CMOS inverter circuit and we will take the another CMOS inverting circuit. Now we will connect the output of the first CMOS inverting gate to the second CMOS inverting gate. So that is the CMOS non-inverting gate here. So now here you can see the circuit diagram of the non-inverting buffer and also the schematic representation. Now what will happen here? See here. So let's say the input is A and the output at the first CMOS inverter is A bar, and now the input to the second input is A bar and the output is A. So that is A complement whole complement. So now this is simply realizes as the A here. So that's why here the schematic representation is nothing but a simple buffer. A you apply and you will get A here. So see here the schematic representation, and you can see the functional table and the circuit diagram. So now see, till this part it is the first CMOS inverter circuit, and the output of this is given as the input to the second gate, CMOS inverter as input, and now the Z is nothing but what? The Z is finally it is A here. So this is CMOS non-inverting buffer. And move on to the CMOS AND gate. As we all know what is a CMOS AND gate. So now we have the CMOS NAND gate is available with us because we have already seen the circuit diagram. So this is the schematic representation of two input NAND gate. So now to get the AND gate, to get two input AND gate, we will take the complement to this output. So now this is simply now a two input of NAND gate here. Two input of NAND gate here. So now we can easily construct here. So how we can build the CMOS AND gate? First we will take the CMOS. First we will take the CMOS NAND gate. We will take the CMOS NAND gate, and the output of the CMOS NAND gate is now complemented here. So if you complemented the CMOS NAND gate, so now you will get the CMOS AND gate here. You will get the CMOS AND gate here. So let's see the diagram. So here you can see the circuit diagram and also the schematic representation. So the schematic representation here and the functional table, and here the circuit diagram. So now see, so till this part it is simply as a two input NAND gate. We know the switching model of the two input NAND gate, and we know the switching model of the CMOS inverter. Now by combining, taking these two, we can have the CMOS AND gate, two input CMOS AND gate here. And here you can see the functional table also, the state of the transistor to corresponding logic inputs and to their output also you can see. So this is about the CMOS AND gate here, CMOS two input AND gate. It is very easy. once if you know the diagrams of the CMOS inverter, CMOS NAND, and CMOS NOR, then we can easily build the circuits for the CMOS non-inverting buffer, CMOS and CMOS OR, because the combination of the by putting we are putting the CMOS inverter gate at the output of each CMOS inverting gates. So that is giving us the CMOS non-inverting gates. So it is very easy to understand. And next, coming to the next one, the CMOS OR gate. CMOS OR gate. So now let's see the CMOS OR gate. So here also, if you take the CMOS two input OR gate, two input NOR gate, and yeah, and if you put a NOT gate at the output of the two input CMOS NOR gate, then that will gives us the two input OR gate here. So OR gate here. So now we can build the circuit here. We can see. So here you can see the CMOS OR gate. So till this, so it is a actually it is a NOR circuit, and it is the inverter circuit. So the output of the two input of CMOS NOR is connected to the input of the CMOS inverter, and finally we are getting the CMOS OR gate here. The schematic representation and the functional table of this circuit you can see here. So this is up to the CMOS OR gate. So as of now, we discussed the CMOS non-inverting gates and the CMOS inverting gates. So what are the CMOS inverting gates? The CMOS inverting gates are the CMOS inverter, CMOS NAND gate, CMOS NOR gate. What are the CMOS non-inverting gates? The CMOS non-inverting gates are the non-inverting buffer, OR gate, and CMOS AND gate. So these are all the CMOS non-inverting gates. And the remaining CMOS circuits are the CMOS AND OR invert and OR and invert logic gates. So for today's session, so we will conclude with this, and in our next lecture, we will see the CMOS AND OR invert and CMOS OR and invert logic gates. I think you have understood the concepts, and if you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, we can end the meeting.